everyone. So I am officially finished with week number 2. It's Sunday, so tomorrow we'll start week number 3 of our preschool. And I thought I would pop in and give you guys a little bit of an update. I don't know why I keep putting these in crooked. So the original schedule that I set up for my students, I figured the very first week I would take notes, see what worked, what didn't, and make changes. And I knew some things would change, but it changed a lot more than I originally anticipated. But last week, our new schedule worked very well for everybody. It worked well for the kids, worked well for me as far as having enough time for the kids to get play time and enough time for me to pull kids individually and work with them. It turned out to be a really good schedule. So we officially, this week, I'm going to give it one more week to try it, but I think we will make that our official schedule. My kids got to start Spanish last week. I have hired a degreed Spanish teacher who comes in on Tuesdays and Thursdays to teach. I also have a lady who comes in with a bachelor's degree in music. She also has several instruments under her belt. She's amazing. Anyway, she comes in from Waco, which is about a 45-minute drive for her, to teach music every Monday to my kiddos. Now, what I did was strategically time it out to where she comes in, the ladies come in to teach at 11 o'clock. We serve lunch at 11:30, 11:45, depending when music and Spanish in and when food is ready. But that allows for Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays for me to make a little more complicated meals, so more hot meals. And until I get assistant, the days that I do not have music or Spanish, we're doing quicker, easier meals, like a homemade Lunchable or, let's see, what's something, I did quesadillas last week and the kids loved it. We did bean and cheese burritos. But that it's hard to do it all. One of the things I am finding about owning an in-home preschool, I expected to be putting in a lot of work at the beginning. A lot of that is because, let me rephrase that. I expected to be putting in a lot of time at the beginning outside of the preschool hours, because I am working on adding new things in, and I'm working on my lesson plans and getting things set and established. Well, it's a lot more than I bargained for. To be honest, I feel like I'm drowning. Every night when the kids leave, I go clean up the bathroom first, because it's not fair for my kids to have to use a dirty bathroom, and it's not fair for my daycare kids to have to use a dirty bathroom the next day. So as soon as kids leave, I go clean the bathroom. That way it's clean for when my kids get home. My oldest rides the bus home. And it's also clean the next day for when my kids come back in. Sorry guys, Sunday afternoon. I am also, and once I've done that, then I go through it and I clean up and straighten anything that needs to be straightened up. Nothing is labeled on my shelves yet. Actually, I started creating labels. So these will be going in my dramatic play today for this week. And eventually the whole classroom will be labeled. It's just, since this is my 3rd week, it takes time to get things made and to get things done. And without having an assistant, I'm struggling to find that time. I am literally getting up at 6 in the morning and working the entire day, cooking dinner for my family. My husband is taking care of our kids in the evening so that I can continue to work on stuff for our preschool. And it's 2 weeks. I'm drowning, y'all guys. And for my preschool, it's been going on for 2 weeks. For me setting up the whole thing, we're going on about 4 months of nonstop, even the weekends. I mean, yesterday I went to a workshop through a Macy workshop, which I needed to go to for a training, which was awesome. I loved it. But that was from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then I came home, started switching out items in my dramatic play center, Then I went to the library and got books for the week. One of the things I'm starting, oh, my little one knocked a book down. One thing that is really important to me as a professional and as an educator is to make sure that there are books in every center related to whatever theme it is. So like my building center, you will get book on architects, maybe a book about blueprints, books on how things work, and you will switch them out every week so they have different things to look at, that they can use that for inspiration when they're building. You can also go over there and every now and then a kid will be like, hey, can you read this to me? Sure, let's read about how castles were built or why this building is famous. In my home living center this week, I've put out a bunch of fruits and vegetables. And so I found a book on fruits and vegetables, which we're going to be reading. I put in there a kid cookbook in there because that is so much fun for them to look at. Kids love looking at those things. And I put in a book on different foods from different cultures, which is a lot of fun. And I'm hoping I will be pulling that book as well this week so we can talk about how different cultures eat different types of foods. You gotta broaden your horizon. Yeah, I'm educated, I promise. I'm just tired. My science center, the kids last week were obsessed with birds. We had so many birds on our bird feeder last week. I let the kids fill it up Monday. And we're almost out of seed. I'm gonna let them fill it up again tomorrow when they get here. But they loved looking at the birds. And so I found a really cool book on birds at the library that I put in our science center. I also have a book on rocks that I put in our science center because every kid loves rocks, and I've got some really cool rocks over there that they can explore and look at. We've got over here, I grabbed an I Spy book, and I'm going to sit down and show them how to use the I Spy book. These are the funnest things ever. Now they do make I Spy books that actually have the pictures at the bottom, but our library didn't have them. So what I think I'm going to eventually do is start taking pictures of things around the room and create our own I Spy book for the kids. All right, so another thing, like I said, our kids have been adjusting amazingly. And so this week I am going to be working on labeling all my centers. The goal is, since I own these items, when I take them off the shelf, I will put the labels away. That way, once I'm done making all my labels, I will have them available, and it won't take a bunch of extra time. It'll literally be me pulling manipulatives off the shelf with their labels, putting out the new labels with the new manipulatives. Oh, that's turned out really well. So some of these did not laminate well the first time. This one needs to be run back through. You know what? So another thing I did is for the first 2 weeks, we were adjusting to our schedule. The first week I started off with very few things on my shelf, just enough to keep them entertained. We all talked about how we use them, different things like that. Last week I added more, and this week I added even more. So this week, my kids will get to be introduced to some of their practical life activities. This will allow me to do one-on-one with the kids. They are going to be doing, let me grab it, our very first step in sweeping. So for this activity, you'll just take a tray. I prefer this tray because it's larger, and you will put a square on the tray. Later, when you do it on the floor, you will give the kids a piece of chalk and they will draw their own circle or square on the floor once they start doing this on the floor. But this is the first step before moving to the floor. You will provide a small cup of beans, rice, whatever you would like to provide. I would prefer if this was glass, but my children are also still learning how to carry a tray. September, the first week in September, this week most of my kids will be learning, we will be practicing carrying trays around the classroom with items on them. That way we can learn that control of movement and control of body. And in September, you will start seeing things switch to glass in my classroom. So what your child will do is they will just dump it all over the tray. Eventually, when it's on the floor, they'll have beans and they'll dump them on the floor. I love these little hand brooms. I always try to get things with natural material if possible. They will take it and they will sweep all of those items into the square. Now here's the part you will see kids struggle with. Once it is all within the square, they will put their container back on the tray. And I will actually make some videos on demonstrating how to properly exercise these and teach these. They will sweep them up. The hardest part for the kids is going to be putting them back into your container. So you will explain to the kids that you will turn it sideways and pour it out the side. Anything that falls out, you sweep back into your square. There you go. And like I said, I will make some videos and show you guys how to properly present these to children. That way, if you would like to start adding Practical Life in your center, you can. I will say Practical Life is super important. It builds up fine motor skills. So sweeping is concentration. It is control of the wrist, which is needed for handwriting. Once they start doing it with broom, it is a control of the whole body as well as gross motor skills. So much, you guys, so much to Practical Life. There's a lot of reasons I'm bringing Practical Life into my environment. Some other things that you will see in Practical Life that I already do have on my shelf, even though it's not considered a Practical Life shelf, is beads, bead stringing. This is your first step to sewing. And when you actually present it, you teach them to use it with a pincher grip. This is my alligator, and he likes to bite things. This is strengthening your child's pincher grip for handwriting in the future. And then you show them how to gently take them off with your pincher grip. So there you go. I will say my kids have each had a lesson in how to properly carry a chair. They have had a lesson in how to properly carry items with two people with help. So what we used was our rocker board, because our rocker board does go outside with us to play. The kids like to use it as a bridge. Sometimes they just sit in it. A couple of my kids last week were using it as a baby doll bed. So they learned how to properly pick up one on each side and carry items outside. If they were to pick up and move a table, that is the exact same way they would carry a table. So they have had quite a few lessons that they don't realize that they have had, which are just kind of precursors. Now next week, is it next week? Yeah, next week I will be bringing in our mats, our work mats, and so once I start bringing in Practical Life activities, they will be done at the table. The activities behind me will be done on the floor with a work mat wherever they choose to do that. The first thing they have to learn how to do with the work mat is how to properly carry a work mat, how to lay out their work mat, and then how to roll your work mat back up and put it away. Again, that is control of body, concentration, and control of movement. Also very super important. So those will be coming in and be introduced into our classroom next week. Okay, so back to the adjusting. Like I said, my kids have adjusted so well that I have been able to add things into our environment quicker than I thought. It's been amazing. One thing that is also coming, this next week I will be introducing center tags. So I do not believe in setting up centers and telling your children where to go. It is their job to decide what interests them and where they want to play. However, there are stipulations. I cannot have every single child in my home living center playing all at once. It's just too much and not everybody will enjoy it. So what I do is this week I will get a headshot of each child. I will put it on a sentence strip with their name. This also is a good step in name recognition. And then each center will have a piece of paper that has blank spots. So for my dramatic play center, there may be a piece of paper that has 4 blank spots. They will take their name tag and stick it on that paper saying, I chose this center. Once all 4 spots are filled, nobody else can be in that center. They will have to find somewhere else to go. When that child is done, they will take, and this is also teaching responsibility, they will take their name tag with them and go to the next center where they choose to work. It works out really well. Like I said, it teaches name recognition. It also helps, in that decision-making process. It's easier to look at each center and go, there's 1 spot left in there. I can go over there. There's 2 spots over there. I could go over there. Which one do I want to do? And then make that decision. So, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about, I'm sorry, you guys, I am jumping all over the place. So, some other things I wanted to talk to you guys about. We were talking about, we'll be starting my 3rd week in care. So, some of these struggles I have dealt with that I did not expect. One of the biggest struggles that I did not expect was how much work I'm putting in the evening. I was hoping to be able to do my week to get everything done during nap time. That way on the weekends, I got to spend time with my family. However, that has not happened. Financially, my husband is my go-to, and he has basically given me a number. When I have X amount of full-time students, I can hire an assistant. I am 1 student away from hiring an assistant, and I have several parents who are currently interested and will be coming in and doing interviews in the evenings and looking at our facility. And we'll be discussing whether or not we're a good fit, and if we are, if they would be interested in a spot for their child. At that point, I will be able to hire an assistant. That way, an assistant will do several things. An assistant will allow me to work with kids individually for a longer period of time because I am not having to stop and get up to handle different things going on in the classroom. A lot of these kids that I have right now, I've never been in child care centers before, and the biggest problem, it's not even a problem, it's just getting used to some new rules. The biggest thing that's been going on is, hey, XYZ, or hey, Bob, are you done playing with that? Okay, great. Can you please pick that up for me before you go to a new center? It's just reminding them, and it's going to take time. It just does. So instead of me having to stop what I'm doing to remind a child to pick up, or, oh, I think you need to go to the bathroom. Why don't you go to the bathroom? You're doing the potty dance. It allows an assistant to take care of those items while I'm working with children. It will also allow, once lunch is over, for me to clean up from lunch and snack, and then be able to get straight to work on these types of items during nap. That way I can have the evening for my families, or I can have the weekends for my families. Right now, I get the kids down for a nap, and I'm with them for the first hour of nap time, getting them to sleep, patting backs, dealing with those types of things. Whereas an assistant could do that while I am working on getting curriculum and stuff set up. So there are perks. There's a lot of perks to that. I would also eventually like to have an assistant to where once a week, maybe every Friday, I could do a library run, which where I live, it'd be maybe half hour, maybe in the afternoon while I have kids after the assistant can get them up for nap, feed them snack. In the afternoon, we have free play, and then I continue to pull kids who are in the afternoon to work on whatever they need to work on. And I could go do a library run, so I'm not doing it on the weekends as well. So yeah, you guys, this is my stove top. Super excited to be adding a stove top into my home living dramatic play area. Now, I also have had a lot of furniture being delivered, and I've been moving things around, which I'm super excited about. And I will do another video later this week if I get a chance. Fingers crossed. and I will walk you guys through our current setup. And at the end of the week, we will be switching over from a grilling and camping theme into a I Am Special theme, which I am so excited about. I love talking about special things about ourselves. So you guys have a great week. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, like and subscribe below, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you're interested in learning about. What kind of videos do you want to see? Do you want to see what the kids are eating every week? Do you want to see a day in the life? What happens during the day with the kids? Do you want to see a prep video on what I end up doing all weekend? Let me know. I'd love some ideas on more videos. You guys have a great day.